Tesla is up nicely this morning, and this is kind of a pattern that we've seen before. We had a sell-off based on uncertainty, emotion, not getting what people wanted exactly. And then over the next few days, the correction comes in. And this sell-off was quite a bit more than I would have expected and more than usual. It might take a little longer to get back to 330 and keep on going from there. Well, here's what some of the pundits are saying since the call. I had Grok help me out with this list. 𝐂𝐦𝐚𝐲 𝐒𝐦𝐿𝐵, he maintains a buy rating and increased his price target to 333 from 303, emphasizing long-term growth in EVs and autonomy, AI energy, and robotics. That was, these are all after the call. Goldman Sachs, Mark Delaney says maintain a neutral rating, but he raised his price target to 300 from 285. We have this from Mizuho. He lowered his price target to 375 from 390, citing weakness in North American EV sales and Tesla's headwinds. China merchants, I don't know who China merchants are, but they downgraded to a hold from a buy and cut their price target from 361 from 377. And KGI Securities maintained an outperform rating, but adjusted their price target to 355 from 361. Then you have the final one here. Chief Investment Officer Keith Fitzgerald, betting against Elon is like betting against Steve Jobs. He believes Tesla is headed back towards a 20, not headed back, headed towards a $20 trillion valuation. Of course, 20 trillion would be, I don't know, 20 times where we are right now. So my feeling is, after thinking about this for a couple of days, I posted this yesterday, I think investors who are interested in Tesla, and I'm talking about both the retail investors and the institutional investors, what they're looking for now is actual execution. I thought that it would happen based on FOMO, but I was wrong. I thought the FOMO would be bigger than it is, but apparently there's doubts now. There's an overhang of I don't know if it's really going to happen, and so people are waiting for the actual execution. So I think the move back to all-time high and beyond is going to take the following. What would you call these road marks? KPIs, things that we can get our fist around and say, okay, this is what's going to happen next. All right. So first of all, we need to take the safety rider out. Then you need to increase the Austin geo-fence, which is supposed to happen right away. And the safety rider is supposed to come out like within the month. Then we need, and everybody needs to be invited, not just a few people. We need, if you want the app, download it, take a ride. Let's do it. Anybody should be able to use the system. Don't know when that's going to happen. No suggestion yet from Tesla how soon that'll happen. Then you need to add a lot more cars. There's some speculation that there might be 35 cars now. We need to be talking about hundreds of cars, not double-digit cars, triple digits, quadruple digits, something like that. Lots more cars. Then you need to add more cities. And apparently, we'll talk about that in just a second, but Elon has laid it out. He's given us the numbers between now and the end of the year. If that happens, I think we'll be way over 500. Of course, I think we'll be at 1,000. Going full unsupervised in some geographies. That was promised. That will be a big deal. And that will be another KPI we'll be looking for. By the way, that's key performance indicator. During doing all of this with no accidents, no serious accident. Well, yeah, there could be one. I mean, there's always going to be an accident. But without serious incidents or accidents that would cause people to go, oh no, all right, don't want that. All right, then we need providing some kind of transparency about the stats related to all of this. Everybody else is giving us numbers. We need numbers from Tesla, some kind of numbers. Anyway, I took a poll on this last night on this idea that this is how it's going to happen in terms of the stock over the next multiple months. And 60% of you agree with that thinking. Now, there's also going to be this matter of the Model Q. We'll talk about that in a second. So we have the first baby step on the list above, okay? And this is according to investing.com says, according to the report, the services geo-fenced operational area will cover a substantial portion of the Bay Area, including Marin County, much of the East Bay, San Francisco, and is extending south to San Jose. The electric vehicle maker has accelerated the timeline for the launch, with select Tesla owners expected to receive invitations to use the service. There will be a safety driver behind the wheel. I'm adding this to the commentary. From other reporting, it would appear that this will start the clock on the 30-day test in California that would lead to being able to take the safety driver out. That's what the other license will be. Now, I left the headline out of this one, and the headline is, this is supposed to start tomorrow. So, San Francisco area opening up tomorrow with safety drivers behind the wheel, a huge area, apparently. I don't know if it's going to be that entire area on this weekend. That would be kind of wild. But anyway, starting tomorrow. So that may be partially why the stock is up today. Would you think? The 𝐒𝐚𝐭𝐮𝐫𝐝𝐚𝐲. What is that? Oh, 𝐒𝐚𝐭𝐮𝐫𝐝𝐚𝐲 says. No, I'm sorry. That's not true. This is Dylan Loomis. He says, everyone is missing what was by far the most important part of the Tesla call. Tesla's current geo-fence in Austin is 42 square miles. Ashok said that a 10X is coming. When that happens, Tesla's bigger, longer geo-fence will be 420 square miles. And somebody has already put up a picture of a possible geo-fenced area that would include roughly that amount. And they had it shaped like a Cybertruck, which sounds like a good idea to me. I hope they do it. Jeff Lutz says this. He says, Dojo 2 operating at 100K H100 equivalents next year. The Dojo 2 operating at 100,000 H100 equivalents next year was overlooked in terms of the rate of growth and just actual compute power. It's greater than all of what Tesla has online today. Tesla is a mass scale provider of training and inference GPUs. And this will be so far down the list of what people pay any attention to until we can see some revenue or savings from it. Phil Beisel says this. By the way, Phil will be on tomorrow morning, maybe tonight, either tonight or tomorrow morning. We're also going to have another CERN Basher over the weekend. It's going to be a great weekend. All right. On Robotaxi, it is clear. I'm sorry, who's this? This is Phil Beisel. He says, on Robotaxi, it's clear to me from yesterday's call that the team is highly confident in its technical solution. In fact, I'd say we're largely moving past the technical risk phase of Robotaxi now and moving into the operational risk phase, which includes regulatory approval. There's a lot to do operationally, including expanding their skeleton Robotaxi operations team. Now many will say, but there are still safety observers. Yes, but did you read the room? People are seeing past this. They indicated they have 7,000 largely intervention-free miles under their belt. There's confidence here if you are listening. This is what Larry also said last night. What he was hearing was confidence. Well, it makes a difference. Oh, so this is the Model Q story. All right, so let's talk about Model Q. Gary Black and I have been going back and forth on this for months. So I finally decided I needed help. I needed more data so that I could absolutely destroy Gary on this. Will it make a difference to actual sales of Tesla vehicles if the Model Q is a stripped down version of a Model Y or if it's a new form factor? I don't think so. So I asked Grok. I said, Grok, will there be a difference in the sales of the Model Y the existing lines, and the new Model Y, whatever it's going to be? Doesn't matter. Will it make a difference between A or B, whether it's a new form factor or whether it's a stripped down version, to the overall sales? And I said, ignore everything that is opinion and just give me the logical conclusion. So here's what Grok said. Logically, the approach doesn't matter because it shapes how the lower price translates into actual buyer behavior and competitive positioning. A stripped down Model Y variant might maximize short-term total sales volume through efficiency and familiarity, but at the cost of higher internal competition and potential brand erosion. What did Randy say? That's the worry, is brand erosion. A new form factor, like a hatchback, would likely better protect existing line sales while unlocking new customer segments leading to a more sustainable growth, though it carries higher execution risks. Ultimately, if the price is low enough, under 30,000, either could succeed in boosting Tesla's market share. But the variant risks more zero-sum shifts within the lineup, while the new form enables additive expansion. The best choice depends on Tesla's goals. Do they want rapid volume variant versus diversified dominance? So that was a pretty good answer, I thought. That's pretty good. And by the way, I've had this experience in my water bottle life for years and years and years. We only sold the top of the line, very squishy, a nice soft surface water bottle that cost more to make because it was made with more expensive materials. My partner wanted to also sell the harder. Maybe if you've used bicycle water bottles, you know they have the hard ones and the soft ones. The soft ones are low-density polyethylenes, and the hard ones are high-density polyethylene. And I didn't want to sell the cheaper ones. I thought it would take away from the sales of the more expensive one where we can make more margin. Guess what? I finally caved. We finally started making the high-density version as well. We sold hundreds of thousands of the high-density ones per year, and it didn't cut into the 5 million of the low densities that we were already selling. Anyway, so we did a poll. I also did a poll. I want to say what you guys thought. Will it make a difference in sales volume if the Model Q is a stripped down version of the Model Y or a new form factor, maybe a hatchback? Zero difference, got 52.8%. Stripped down hurts the Y sales because of the brand problem, and that was 32% said that. And if the stripped down version would equal fewer Q sales, that got 15.1%. So over half of you agreed with Grok and me. In the biased media department, you have to just question why it's so hard for the mainstream media to just get this stuff right. Now, you remember yesterday or the day before, I mentioned there were these tests in China of the ADA systems of Tesla, as well as all the other brands. I mean, they really did a lot of different brands. It was a very good test. And Tesla won. It wasn't even close. They got 5 out of 6 of the tests right. And the next best got 3 out of 6, and that was only 2 companies. And then the rest of the people got 1 right or none right. And when I say right, I mean they tested the cars, with stopped cars in the middle of the freeway. They tested some kind of lane change issues. Anyway, Tesla won the day by a screaming monster. So then Fortune magazine, was it no, this is Fortune. I didn't write down who this was. Anyway, one of the magazines decided to run this. And by the way, the article, it was Reuters. This is Reuters. Of course it was Reuters. So Reuters, they ran the article and they told it like it was in the article. Here's the headline. Tesla beats Chinese rivals in some driving assisted tests. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. Okay, Fortune magazine did say this. Let's first establish what Tesla's likely value is as a standalone maker and seller of cars and energy-saving equipment. Those sales are declining. We'll award the current no-growth model the S&P 500's generous overall PE of 29.3. So I don't know why 29.3. Could we just do 30? So much easier to multiply. This is an extremely high mark by historical standards. Running the numbers on what it's doing today, Tesla's worth would be about 107 billion. That's a multiple 29 times the 12-month core earnings of 3.66 billion. The difference between that modest figure and Tesla's still Brobding. I don't even know what that is. I've never seen that word before. Brobding. I don't have that. Anyway, sorry. Valuation is what's known as Tesla's future growth value, or what he calls the Musk Magic Premium. Today, the Musk Magic Premium stands at around 882 billion. Today's cap of 989 billion, less a value he just mentioned. It's intriguing that, at least for today, investors are expressing a lot less confidence in Musk's promises. Their doubts have shaved no less than 89 billion from Tesla's cap so far. Still, although that's back up today, of course, still, their faith extends well beyond anything that even the most optimistic growth estimates can reasonably explain. Well, that's not true. Say you want a 10% annual return for buying or continuing to hold Tesla shares over the next 7 years. To deliver Tesla's valuation, you would need double over that span, hitting nearly 2 trillion. Well, we expect to hit 2 trillion this year. Even if Tesla boasts a premium PE of 35 at that point, the required earnings would, by mid-2032 would have to reach 55 billion a year. Ringing that bell would mandate annual profit growth of around 45%. That's possible for a startup, but for a mature giant that's arguably as much about metal bending as groundbreaking technology, it sounds like the ultimate stretch. No, it doesn't at all. Musk's statements Musk's statements rival his most head-spinning pledges to date. On the earnings call, Musk predicted that by year-end we'll probably have autonomous ride-hailing in probably half the population of the U.S., and that the number of vehicles in operation will increase at a hyper-exponential rate. But the most revealing part of Musk's declaration was his cautionary interjections that because they're so unusual deserve close attention. Musk acknowledged that the U.S. regulatory tax credits are poised to go away. He added, we're in the weird period where we'll lose a lot of incentives in the U.S. We probably could have a couple of tough quarters. He then reprised one of his super pro persons. Once you get to autonomy at scale, certainly by the end of next year, I'd be surprised if Tesla economics are not very compelling. This is an understatement, intended to be an understatement if you know Elon's sense of humor. What? Investors need to wait to the end of 2026 to see big profits to start rolling in? The further the Musk horizon recedes, the more folks and funds will lose confidence in his fabulous vision, and the more days like today, and the stock will suffer. Going back to the numbers, that they continued. An even worse sign that than the puny earnings. Tesla's CFO stated that the company will spend over $5 billion in capital expenditures for the rest of 2025. That's more than it's collected in cash from operations in the first 2 quarters, suggesting its free cash flow would go negative. Well, no, he's forgetting to point out that the third quarter is going to be fab, and the fourth quarter, in my opinion, is going to be fine too, maybe even better than the third quarter. The warning sign, all of these revolutionary products continue to be extremely expensive and capital intensive to fund. Getting the kind of returns Tesla's needs will require huge returns on every new dollar it invests, along the lines of Alphabet or NVIDIA. Yeah, duh. Yet the heavy capital outlays keep coming. Musk heralds the promised land ahead. Investors are starting to see a fading mirage. By the way, this is very late in the program to be hitting the like button, but it still matters. So hit the like button, subscribe, notify. Thank you very much. Well over 100 people have signed up to be readers. That was very much appreciated. I hope that those of you signed up, will enjoy the journey. It's going to be fun. Orders for durable goods fell 9.3% in June. That's the headline number. But if you read it a little past that headline number, most of the drop was tied to passenger planes. The Commerce Department said Friday, outside of the transportation sector, orders rose by 0.2% for the third straight monthly gain. That's very, very good news. By the way, and the drop on airplanes was after a massive increase last month and was totally predictable. Economists had forecast 11% drop in orders for durable goods in June because of the weaker orders at Boeing. Now then, in political news today, we have 2 big stories. We have political corruption, complete political corruption. None dare call it treason. No, it is treason. If it's true, it's treason by Obama. And then we have some scurrilous criminal acts. I mean, they're bad, they're nasty, but these criminal acts are done by unknown individuals in the Epstein case. And so which one of those 2 things? We got unknown individuals doing horrible things 20 years ago, or we have Obama doing treasonous things 8 years ago. And which one of those 2 would you think would get the most headlines in today's newspapers, etc., all the mainstream media? Oh, you guessed that it would be the scurrilous, the sex story. Oh, that. Yes, that's true. Well, help is on the way. A conservative business owner, Larry Ellison, has just finished the purchase of Paramount, which includes CBS. So we'll see whether we get balanced news coverage on their stations now. Wouldn't that be lovely? What's going to happen to the CBS news programming? 60 Minutes, for instance. Maybe to get some young people on there. I'm sorry. I don't want old people to be cast aside, but I get to decide my fate by just how much I want to keep doing this. But the people on 60 Minutes, I mean, I think they're past their due date. Have you watched that program? All right. So this morning, the VIX is still sitting just above 15. So that's risk on. Trueflation is still at 2.02 on the overnight, but on the year over year, it is back down to 2.11 after being, I think, 2.17, no, 2.21 yesterday. The president's rating also backed off a little bit to 48%. That's getting down near the low end of what Rasmussen has had him. It's been 47 to 53 has kind of been his range. And then let's go ahead and see what the markets are doing. Let's start with, of course, Tesla is up 2.36% at $312.50. It has been a little bit higher this morning. It is topping off now because I think it's following the market. Well, actually, the Dow Jones is doing pretty well. The Dow Jones is heading up after being negative. It is up 0.22. NASDAQ is up 0.20. It has been up all morning. And the S&P is up also 0.24. All three just about the same. Everything's kind of flattish in those three. All right. We've got the Magnificent Seven is all up except for Amazon, which is down a tad. Yep. The VIX is still where I said it was. Okay, now we're going to the Cathie Woods, and the Cathie Woods are doing mixed also, completely mixed, half up, half down. Okay, let's go ahead. Unfortunately, last time I checked, the bonds were heading up a little bit. They're still heading up a little bit, up 0.8%. 1 full percent now at 4.418. Sigh. How do we have oil prices down 40 cents to 65.63. I did a big study of that yesterday. I got two pieces of news for you maybe don't know. You can surprise your friends with this. How are gasoline prices compared to the last 70 years from 1950 till now? How are gasoline prices doing? Would you believe they are flat? Almost if you take out inflation, gasoline prices are just about flat over that entire period. How about electricity prices? Home electricity, the kind you have to pay for when you pay your electric bill every month. Would you believe those are down from the 1950s, down from before the 1950s? And it's not a ton, but if you take out inflation, if you take out the average inflation number, electricity prices are at the lowest they have ever been. Surprise your friends with those two pieces of news. All right, let's keep going here. We have got oil down, as I said. Natural gas is up a little bit, returning. Well, it's still only at $3.13, so $3.14. So it is up 1.36, but still very low compared to its range. We have gold down another 35. That was a nice $100 up and down deal. We're now back to 33.38. If you remember, we have our fun number 33.33, and it's back to 33.38 after going to 34 and close to 50, I think. Silver backing off a little bit also, down 0.75 at $38.93. And copper up still more, another 0.15. Actually, it's down from where the highest it got to. I think it was like $5.95. We're at $5.81 at this point. We got the dollar mixed, of course. We've got the Bitcoin down 4,000 today at 115,160. How about that? Those apples. All right. That's all the news there is to talk about this morning. Later on today, we got Larry Goldberg at probably early, like 3:34, something like that. We have got maybe Brian Wong. That would be my best guess. Would be Brian Wong at the late time, 7:45. And then, as I mentioned, we'll have Søren Basher, Phil Beisel, maybe more Brian Wong over the weekend. Lots of really good programming over the weekend. So make sure you've hit the notify button. And in order to did you know that in order to hit the notify button, you have to be a subscriber? Did you know that? And then one last little thing today. Has the reporting been any good the last few days? Have you enjoyed it? Then consider Patreon. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Just, it takes 1 minute to go over there and sign up. $3 a month, $5 a month, be a big help. All right, that's all I got for you. It has been great talking to you.